3 months ago, I was standing on the brink of my life, a woman convinced she was nothing more than a ghost in her own marriage. I had walked away from him, my billionaire husband, with a heart so shattered I wasn't sure it could ever beat again. The story I told myself was simple. He never loved me. I was a convenience, a placeholder, a burden he carried with a polite smile and a distant gaze. Every lavish gift, every public appearance, felt like a transaction. The love I yearned for was a currency he didn't deal in. So I left. I vanished from his world, trading a gilded cage for a small, quiet apartment where the only sounds were my own unsteady breaths. I was determined to rebuild myself from the rubble, to find the person I was before my identity became his wife. I told myself I was free, but every night, his face haunted my dreams. The memory of his cool touch, the echo of his formal tone, it was a prison of its own making. I convinced myself that he hadn't even noticed I was gone, that my absence was a relief. A weight lifted from his shoulders. For 3 long months, that was my reality. A bleak, gray existence fueled by cheap coffee and the stubborn belief that I was better off alone. I was a ship adrift, with no anchor and no shore in sight. And then, one rainy Tuesday, everything I thought I knew was torn to shreds. I was working a late shift at a small downtown diner, the kind of place you go to disappear. I was refilling a salt shaker when a familiar voice cut through the clatter of plates. It was him. Not the composed, powerful CEO I knew, but a version of him I'd never seen before. He was sitting in a corner booth, his back to me, talking on the phone. His voice was raw, frayed at the edges, laced with a desperation that sent a shiver down my spine. And then I heard it. My name. He whispered it. Not like a statement, but like a prayer, like a wound. "I can't find her," he said, his voice cracking. "It's been 3 months. I've looked everywhere. It's like she vanished. I need her back." I was a fool. I pushed her away with my silence, with my fear. I loved her more than anything, and I never told her. I thought protecting her meant keeping her at arm's length. What a colossal idiot I've been. My heart stopped. The salt shaker slipped from my fingers, clattering to the floor. Loved me. He loved me. All this time. The cold, distant husband I ran from was a facade, a shield. He was afraid. The word didn't compute. This was the man who commanded boardrooms, who brought titans of industry to their knees with a single glance. Fear wasn't in his vocabulary. Or so I thought. He continued talking, his words painting a picture I couldn't have imagined in my wildest fantasies. He spoke of his past, a dark and dangerous one that he had tried to shield me from. He believed his enemies would use me to get to him, that the safest place for me was far from his heart. So he built walls. He created a character, the detached billionaire who saw me as an accessory to keep me safe. He thought that if no one knew how much he loved me, no one could use that love as a weapon against him. Tears streamed down my face as I listened, hidden behind a service pillar. The years of feeling unloved, of feeling like a ghost, weren't because he didn't care. It was because he cared too much. His distance wasn't rejection. It was protection. His silence wasn't indifference. It was a sacrifice. Every cold glance, every missed dinner, it was all part of an elaborate act to keep me from harm. My entire world tilted on its axis. The narrative of my broken heart, the story of the unloved wife, it was all a lie. A lie born from his fear and my own insecurity. He hadn't abandoned me. He had been searching for me, tormented by my absence, drowning in a regret of his own making. The truth was so much more complex, so much more heartbreaking, and so much more beautiful than the simple story of a failed marriage. As he hung up the phone and slumped in his seat, his head in his hands, I knew I couldn't stay hidden. This wasn't the end of our story. It was the beginning, the real beginning. All the misunderstandings, all the pain, it was just the prologue. Now armed with the truth, it was my turn to act. It was my turn to fight for the love I never knew I had. I took a deep breath, wiped my tears, and stepped out from behind the pillar. His head shot up, his eyes widening in disbelief. The look on his face, a mixture of shock, relief, and a profound soul-deep love, was everything I had ever wanted to see. Time seemed to stop as our eyes locked across the diner. "You found me," I whispered, my voice trembling but clear. A slow, brilliant smile spread across his face, lighting up the tired lines around his eyes. "I never stopped looking," he replied, his voice thick with emotion. He stood up and started walking towards me, his gaze never leaving mine. And in that moment I knew I was no longer a burden. I was his everything. I wasn't the woman on the edge of her life anymore. I was the woman standing at the start of a new one, ready to face the dangers he tried to protect me from. But this time, together. This wasn't just about reclaiming a lost love. It was about forging a new one, built on the raw, unfiltered truth. He had spent years building walls to keep me safe, but now it was time to tear them down. His world was dangerous, yes, but the greatest danger had been living without each other. The enemies he feared were real, but the love we shared was our most powerful weapon. We left the diner that night, hand in hand, leaving behind the ghosts of our past. The road ahead was uncertain. There would be challenges, threats from the shadows he had tried so hard to keep at bay. But for the first time, I wasn't afraid. I was home, and our real story, a story of fighting for love against all odds, was just beginning. He thought his protection meant keeping me out, but true protection meant letting me in, and I was ready. I was ready to be his partner, his equal, his wife in every sense of the word, facing whatever came our way, together. The billionaire's wife was back, but this time, she was no longer a silent accessory. She was a queen ready to claim her king and her kingdom. Thank you for watching. If you were captivated by this story of love, sacrifice, and second chances, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales that will touch your heart. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. See you in the next video. My husband walked into our home with his mistress and demanded that I hand her the keys to my BMW right there in my own house, the same car my father had gifted me for my birthday. She stood there smirking while my mother-in-law nodded in approval, as if I was supposed to smile politely and obey. They treated me like nothing, like I didn't matter, like my feelings were irrelevant. But they had no idea what was coming next. If you've ever felt invisible in your own home, or if anyone has ever tried to make you feel small, stay with me. This is the story of a woman who lost almost everything except her dignity, and trust me, that was more than enough. Hit that subscribe button right now because this revenge is cold, calculated, and downright beautiful. You're going to want to hear how this ends. So let me take you back to the beginning. My name doesn't matter anymore, but my story does. I'm 29, and 5 years ago I married a man named Preston. I truly believed I was marrying my best friend, my partner, someone who would stand by my side through anything. I couldn't have been more wrong. Preston worked at his family's car dealership, not a huge business, but enough to live comfortably. The problem was, we didn't live in our own place. We lived in his family's home, a big, sprawling house, with his mother, his sister, and us all under one roof. From the very first day, I knew his mother didn't like me. I saw it in her eyes, in the way her smile never quite reached her face whenever she looked at me. I was too dark for her taste, not the kind of woman she imagined for her precious son. But I loved Preston, and I thought love would carry us through anything. I convinced myself that if I tried harder, cooked better, cleaned more, smiled more, maybe she would eventually accept me. His sister was even worse. She'd borrow my jewelry and never return it. She'd eat my leftovers from the fridge. She'd walk into our bedroom without knocking. No boundaries, no respect. And Preston, he never said a single word. He never defended me. He always took their side. My own family was different. My mother passed away when I was 19, but my father and my daddy was my rock. He'd worked his whole life as a postal worker and retired, with a small pension, but he loved me fiercely. He was the only person who made me feel valued and reminded me that I deserved good things. 6 months before everything fell apart, my father did something incredible for my birthday. He had been saving money for 2 years, bit by bit, and he bought me a BMW. Not brand new, but a gorgeous, well-maintained midnight blue 5 Series. When he handed me the keys, tears rolled down his face. He said, "Baby, you deserve beautiful things. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." I cried. I held those keys like they were made of gold because to me, they were. That car wasn't just transportation. It was my father's love, his sacrifice, his belief in me. Preston's family barely acknowledged it. His mother made a comment about it being too flashy. His sister accused me of showing off. I didn't care. Every time I drove that BMW, I felt like somebody. I felt seen. Then things started to shift. Preston began coming home late, smelling like perfume that wasn't mine. I found long blonde hairs in our other car, the car he drove, not my BMW. I kept mine locked and parked separately because I didn't trust anyone in that house. When I confronted him about the late nights, he looked at me like I was crazy. "You're paranoid," he said. "You're insecure. This is why we have issues." His mother immediately backed him up. "Preston would never cheat," she told me. "You're just jealous because he has options. You should be grateful he chose you." Her words cut deep, but I swallowed them like I swallowed everything else. And then came the day I'll never forget. Preston brought her home. Her name was Vanessa, blonde-blue-eyed. Exactly what his mother would have dreamed of. He introduced her as a close friend who was going through a hard time and needed support. His mother lit up around her laughing, offering her tea, complimenting her things she had never done with me at dinner. I watched them interact, the inside jokes, the light touches, the closeness. Vanessa casually touched Preston's arm under the table, and he didn't move at all. His sister complimented Vanessa's everything, her hair, her clothes, her laugh, and treated me like I didn't even exist. Under the table, I saw Vanessa's hand slide over to Preston's. He let her. That's when I knew. Everyone else already knew about her. Maybe I'd known for a long time and just refused to see it. A few days later, Preston cornered me in our bedroom. "Vanessa needs a car," he said, like he was asking me to pass the remote. "Her car broke down. She can't afford repairs, so buy her one from your dealership," I snapped. He rolled his eyes. "Don't be stupid. We're not wasting money on her. You barely drive your BMW. Give it to her." My heart pounded. "My father gave me that car." "Your father needs to stop spoiling you," Preston barked. "You're a grown woman. Stop being selfish. Vanessa actually needs transportation." I stared at him. That car is mine. It's not just a car. Preston, it is just metal and wheels. He cut in. This is exactly our problem. You care more about things than being a good wife. Before I could respond, his mother called a family meeting. Everyone gathered in the living room. Preston, his mother, his sister, and me. Vanessa sat on the couch like she belonged there. We need to address your attitude, his mother began, staring at me coldly. Preston says, you're refusing to help Vanessa. A good wife supports her husband's decisions. His sister chimed in. It's just a car. Why are you so attached to things? It's weird. Preston leaned forward. This is why we have problems. You always think only about yourself. Vanessa sat there pretending to feel sorry for me. But she was the reason my marriage was crumbling. Then came the ultimatum. Preston's mother stood up, looked down at me and said, give her the car or move out. This is my house. I will not tolerate disrespect under my roof. Something inside me broke not my spirit, but the illusions I had clung to. The illusion that this family would ever accept me. The illusion that Preston loved me. The illusion that I somehow deserved this treatment. That night I called my father. I sobbed so hard I could barely breathe. When I finally explained everything, I heard something in his voice I had never heard before. Rage, baby girl, I'm coming to get you right now, he said. Pack your things. You're coming home. No, Daddy, I whispered through tears. I need to handle this my way. You don't have to take this, he insisted. Come home. But something had shifted inside me. I wasn't running not yet. I will Daddy soon, but first, I need to do something. The next morning I walked downstairs and announced that I would give Vanessa the car. You should have seen their faces. Preston's mother looked victorious. His sister smirked. Preston looked relieved. Vanessa even hugged me, this fake, smug hug like she'd finally won. Finally, you're being reasonable, Preston's mother said. Preston's kissed Vanessa right in front of me, on the lips, as punishment for daring to say no the first time. I remained calm, expression neutral, but inside I was already 10 steps ahead. They made a whole ceremony out of it, taking pictures of Vanessa with my BMW. Preston's mother posted them online, with captions bragging about the new addition to the family. My phone lit up with messages from people who saw the posts. The humiliation was public and intentional. As Vanessa drove away in my BMW, she rolled down the window and smirked. Thanks, go, Preston always said you'd come around. I smiled, waved, and walked back inside. That afternoon I went to my father's house. When he opened the door and saw my face, he pulled me into his arms. Baby, what are we going to do? He asked. I looked him in the eye. Daddy, I need your help, but not in the way you think. For the next 2 weeks I became a different person. Not on the outside, I remained the same quiet, obedient wife. I cooked, I cleaned, I smiled when expected, but behind the scenes, I documented everything. Every time Preston and Vanessa snuck into a room together, every kiss in the hallway, every cruel comment from his mother, I recorded it all. Preston got bolder. He announced that Vanessa was moving into the house temporarily. She took over everything, redecorated, used my bathroom, wore my clothes. His mother treated her like the daughter-in-law she'd always wanted. Soon, Preston stopped sleeping in our room and moved into the guest room with Vanessa. I heard them through the walls at night. They weren't hiding anything. His sister laughed at me. His mother mocked me. They all believed I was trapped, while they were busy humiliating me. My father was busy too. He used his savings to buy a small house across town and put it in my name. I opened my own bank account and quietly transferred my salary. I hired a good lawyer and filed for divorce on the grounds of adultery. I had photos, recordings, everything, and I demanded my BMW back. My father's receipt and photos proved it was legally mine, but I told no one. I kept playing my role. Then Preston announced a family vacation to the beach. Vanessa, his mother, and his sister were going. They wanted me to stay behind and watch the house. I agreed sweetly. Too sweetly. The morning they left, Preston kissed Vanessa goodbye and didn't even look at me. We'll be back Sunday, he said. Keep the house clean. I waved as they drove off in what they thought was Vanessa's car, and as soon as they turned the corner I called my father. Daddy, it's time. Within an hour my father arrived with my cousins and a moving truck. We packed up everything that belonged to me, clothes, books, photos, the things my mother had left me. I didn't leave a single meaningful thing behind. On the bed, Preston and I once shared, I left the divorce papers and a note. You can keep the house. I'll take my car back. Have a nice life. My lawyer had already filed everything. The next morning, Preston got served right at their beach rental. Divorce papers and a court order demanding the immediate return of my BMW. Vanessa had a meltdown. She screamed, cried, and refused to give up the car until police arrived to escort it back to me. Everything they did to me, humiliation, disrespect, cruelty, was now happening to them. Preston called me 73 times. I blocked him after the first 10. His mother left hateful voicemails. His sister sent insults. Blob, blob, blob. Then I posted one message on social media, just one. It was a photo my father had taken on my birthday of me smiling next to my BMW, pure joy on my face. The caption said, "Some gifts are priceless. Some people are worthless. I got my car back and lost 200 pounds of trash. Best trade ever." We didn't name anyone, I didn't have to. Everyone knew. The comments poured in, hundreds of them. People who'd witnessed how his family treated me finally spoke up. Preston's family was exposed and there was nothing they could do. 3 days later, Preston showed up at my father's house. My father met him at the door and wouldn't let him step inside. "I need to talk to her," Preston begged. "Please, I made a mistake." "You made a lot of mistakes," my father said, "and now you're living with them." I stepped outside and stood beside my father. Preston looked terrible and shaved, exhausted, desperate. "Baby, please," he cried. "I'm sorry I messed everything up. Vanessa meant nothing. My family was wrong. We can fix this." I looked at him and felt nothing. No anger, no sadness. "No, love, you made me feel worthless," I said calmly. "Your family treated me like a servant. You flaunted your mistress in my face. In my home, you took my father's gift and handed it to her like I didn't matter. You humiliated me publicly. And now you want forgiveness?" "It meant nothing," he insisted. "She meant nothing." "No, Preston," I said. "I mean nothing to you, but I mean everything to my father. Now finally I mean everything to myself." Just then, a car pulled up by BMW. Vanessa was driving. The court had ordered her to return it, but apparently she'd driven it one last time to bring Preston back from the beach. "Preston, are you coming?" she called out the window. "I thought we were going to dinner." Preston's face went pale. He looked between her and me. Finally realizing he had lost everything, I laughed. "I couldn't help it. You can have him, Vanessa," I said. "Congratulations on your prize. Hope the car was worth it." I turned around, walked back inside my father's house, and shut the door. From the window, I watched Preston stand on the porch, completely lost. Vanessa sped off in my car, furious he wasn't moving fast enough. And Preston just stood there alone. That was 4 months ago. The divorce was finalized quickly. Adultery with evidence is straightforward. I got my BMW back. And let me tell you, she drives better than ever. Preston walked away with nothing. Everything was in his mother's name, the house, the dealership, all of it. He had no money. Vanessa left him 2 weeks later once she realized he had nothing to offer. Last I heard, she's already with someone else. His mother tried to spread rumors about me, but nobody believed her. Too many people had watched how they treated me. As for me, I'm living in the little house my father bought me. I got promoted at work. I wake up every single morning in peace, without anyone telling me I'm not enough. My father comes over for Sunday dinners, and we sit on the porch laughing about how far I've come. My BMW sits in my driveway, and every time I see it, I'm reminded of 2 things. My father's love and my own strength. They thought breaking me would be easy. They thought I'd disappear quietly. They thought I'd accept being treated like nothing. But I want you to remember something. Your silence is not consent. Your patience is not weakness. And when you finally arise, make sure they never see it coming. If this story fired you up, hit that like button right now. Smash it. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that they are stronger than they think. Drop a comment and tell me what you would have done in my situation. I want to hear your thoughts. And subscribe to this channel because strong women need to stick together. We must remind each other that we deserve respect, love, and dignity every single day. Remember, the best revenge isn't anger. It's becoming someone they can never break. It's taking back what's yours and never looking back. It's knowing your worth and never settling for less. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that you're never as trapped as you think. There is always a way out. There is always a way forward. Stay strong, stay blessed, and never, ever let anyone take what belongs to you. Peace.